Okay, so we have here a naming question, and we're asked to name the following compound. And so right away we can see that nitrogen, which should have us probably thinking either amine or amide at this point in the course. And so because there's no carbonyl carbon bonded directly to the nitrogen, we can eliminate the amide concern and realize that we're, in this case, looking at an amine. So we have three groups off of that nitrogen, three carbon groups that is, two methyl groups, one to the left and one down below. And we also happen to have a propyl group, N-propyl group technically. So there it is right off to the right. Okay, so we're dealing with three different substituents on that nitrogen. Two happen to be the same, and one is different there. So let's talk about naming. All right, so first of all, we need to consider the longest chain to get the parent name, and this happens to be an N-propylamine as opposed to an isopropylamine if we had the isopropyl group as opposed to the N-propyl group. So there's N-propylamine, but there's also those two methyl groups, so we have to come up with a way to name them, and we have to consider the fact that those methyl groups could have been on the propyl parent chain. They're not. They're off of that nitrogen. So lots to deal with here, so let's handle it one thing at a time. First of all, the methyl groups would come alphabetically before the propyl group, and especially with that di prefix that we're going to have to add in there. So we're dealing with a dimethyl N-propylamine, but we have to make sure that it's clear that the methyl groups are on the nitrogen and not on the propyl group, right? They could be on that middle carbon there of the propyl group. So the way we do that is we say N to denote that it's on the nitrogen, and then since there's two of those methyl groups, we'll put another N there, so it's NN dimethyl, and technically, if you want to be very careful, as we always are here, N-propyl amine. All right, and so there we have it. We denote those two methyl groups as being on the nitrogen instead of on that propyl parent chain by putting the N, N, then the dimethyl, then the N for the straight chain, lowercase n, not to be confused with the capital N denoting something bonded directly to a nitrogen, and then it's an N-propylamine. If those were hydrogens coming off of the nitrogen instead of methyl groups, we'd just call it N-propylamine. Since they are methyl groups, and there are two of them, and they're coming directly off the nitrogen, we have to use the N prefix to denote that, and then the dimethyl to indicate that they're both methyl groups, and then finally the N, lowercase n, for the straight chain propyl parent, and then because it is bonded to that nitrogen, it is an amine functional group. So NN dimethyl N-propyl amine. All right, so there it is. Hopefully it helps you with any of the naming problems you may have encountered here with amines, and we'll certainly tackle the issue of naming amides afterward in a later video.